everyone, and welcome back to another penny stock video. And today we're taking a look at ADHC, American Diversified Holdings Corp, currently trading at just 0.0025 a share. Very cheap stock right now. We're going to take a look at a recent significant valuation they received, as well as a bunch of different recent press releases that they've put out, which are really exciting. And essentially, this is a biotech company that is working fast, and they are building a really unique product that could have really significant market share here. And we'll take a look at the product as well as their recent press releases in just a moment. We'll just take a look at the share structure first, as we always do. We have a float here of around 1.17 billion. Very standard share structure, I would say, for this price range. Nothing egregious here, so very reasonable and standard share structure, and the stock definitely has significant potential with, right around 1 billion shares. We've seen tons of companies with similar share structures to this at these price ranges that have made some really great runs. So that's definitely a workable share structure there. And we'll move on to a lot of their exciting recent news events, as well as $43 million valuation they recently received. And as you can see right now, their market cap's at $3.5 million. So they're trading well under their recent valuation that they've received. So we'll take a look at that. Let's jump into their news. So they have a bunch of recent news from April through June. As you can see, they've had 5 different press releases. Always great to see a company delivering consistent catalysts for their shareholders and continuing to be active in communication. But a lot of these press releases are quite significant and show just how fast this company is working towards its goals and how fast they're progressing. So we'll jump into the first one here, which is from April 29th. And this is American Diversified Holdings Corporation receives favorable FDA review. Okay, so they did hear back from the FDA. They applied through the FDA's breakthrough device category for their product GlucoGuard, which is an oral retainer that will essentially, for diabetes patients, it will regulate their glucose levels as they sleep. Completely automatic. The user won't even know what's happening. Essentially, all you have to do is wear the mouthpiece as you sleep. It's pretty groundbreaking technology, and we'll take a closer look at the product in just a moment. But they did submit already to the FDA and received positive feedback from the FDA. Now, it's also worth noting this press release mentions Dr. Stephen C. Weber of Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. He is on the board of ADHC, which we'll take a look at their website as well in just a moment to go over their team. However, he is also a former FDA employee as well. So when you have significant connections such as that on the team of a biotech, obviously he knows the process for FDA approval, and he also has connections with the FDA, meaning that's a very positive sign for this company to receive FDA approval within a reasonable timeline, right? So it's great to see that. And this is, of course, a very substantial press release that kicked off a series of substantial press releases. Before we go into the rest, let's take a look at GlucoGuard and introduce you to the product. So you can see it's an AI predictive dosing mechanism here, and it is an oral piece, an oral retainer, and it will just automatically deliver glucose into your system when it senses that your levels are low. And this all happens while you're sleeping. It's a really phenomenal device for diabetes patients, and it uses, of course, artificial intelligence alongside databases to determine the user's glucose levels and when they need the glucose delivery system. So it's all completely automatic, which is fantastic, and really the future of diabetes treatment right here. And we'll look at their About Us, because they put together quite a good team as well. You have founder and CEO Zachary Smith, who was a biomedical engineer with a master's from Arizona State University. You have Dr. Stephen Weber, which we just talked about, assistant professor, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. And as you can see, as you go down here, Dr. Weber previously worked at the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, as a medical officer and clinical reviewer. He also works as an independent regulatory consultant, evaluating and clearing orthopedic and related devices for the FDA and EU. Okay, so this is one of the most powerful connections you can have as a biotech company is a former FDA employee who was actively involved with the approval process. He knows how to get approval for these devices, and of course, I'm sure he has friends in the FDA that may help them as well with the process. So this is a very important team member I wanted to highlight. And then you have Bill Colon, medical advisor, board member, currently CEO and chairman of SinglePass, an Orange County-based startup company developing a unique electrocautery device for use during deep tissue biopsy procedures. Formerly served as the CEO at Spinal Singularity, a seed-stage medical device development company in San Clemente, California. Under Mr. Colon, the company raised over $6.6 million in funding and over $5.1 million in non-dilutive funding for product development, clinical studies, and regulatory approvals. So they have a really experienced team on board here that has the experience of getting FDA approval. They have the experience of raising funds for biotechs and building up those biotechs. So great team here, and of course, great product as well. Really what could be a revolutionary product, this GlucoGuard product. So let's go back to some of their recent press releases, and these give you a better explanation as to how this product is developing and the partnerships that they're making. So you can see here from May 19th, American Diversified Holdings Corporation, ADHC, to retain San Diego-based biodevice engineering firm Arete Bioscience to design GlucoGuard's oral diabetes management device. And we'll take a deeper look at Arete in just a moment, but these guys are no joke. They've worked with some really, really big biotech companies, helping them develop groundbreaking products. And now they're working with ADHC and GlucoGuard to help develop that as well. And you can see, additionally, ADHC has received a funding commitment from a seasoned hedge fund that specializes in financing public companies. This funding will be non-dilutive, following a financing model that is not detrimental to the trading environment of ADHC stock. So they have already gotten non-dilutive funding commitment from a hedge fund to retain Arete Bioscience for GlucoGuard's device design. So that is really fantastic as well. Obviously, as OTC traders and investors, we're quite used to dilutive financing, but this is non-dilutive funding, and it's quite unique as well for an actual hedge fund to be stepping in and providing the funding for an OTC stock. You rarely see hedge funds become involved with OTC stocks, so when they do, you have to pay attention to that. It's a super unique scenario here, and it's a huge statement of confidence in ADHC. Okay, so we have that. And then we have from May 27th, GlucoGuard, a division of American Diversified Holdings, ADHC, right, successfully submits level 2 app integration through Dexcom's developer partner program. So key takeaways here, guys, is Arete Bioscience partnership and Dexcom partnership. We're going to take a deeper dive into what those mean. We're going to take a deeper dive into both Arete and Dexcom in just a moment here. I just want to finish highlighting these press releases because they are quite important. So you can see that they completed level 2 app integration through Dexcom's developer program. Okay, and this project development is in conjunction with UC Irvine's, University of California Irvine's MADO program through the California Institute for Telecommunications and Information Technology. So that's a third partnership they now have with the University of California Irvine. And again, guys, this is something you can't ignore when you have these really legitimate biotech companies such as Dexcom and Arete Biosciences partnering, and of course University of California Irvine, and of course the hedge fund as well, all teaming up with ADHC. These are things you really can't ignore in a penny stock because these simply don't happen with most penny stocks. Okay, so keep that in mind as we go. And you can see developments include a functional front-end and back-end app capable of running on an emulator, trained predictive algorithm for detecting hypoglycemia episodes with 95% accuracy, and secured registered developer access to the Dexcom API, enabling initial integration with continuous glucose monitoring data. Okay, so next press release and last one we're going to highlight here is GlucoGuard receives the $43 million enterprise valuation research report, which I had mentioned earlier in this video as well, the $43 million valuation. And again, what's their current valuation on the market? Just $3.6 million. Okay, so really significant valuation here, indicating a lot of upside for the stock. You can see that there's a price target of 0.012. per share, which again equates to the $43 million enterprise valuation. Key aspects of the report is 537 million diabetic patients worldwide, 37 million diabetic patients in the US, 3.7 type 1 diabetics in the US, 3.7 million type 1 diabetics in the US, 190,000 to 380,000 potential patients in the US, and a potential market of $360 million to $720 million in revenue with this breakthrough product, Glucogard. And then in additional news, ADHC is in negotiations for a strategic partnership to license Glucogard technology to the European Union for upfront cash payments, milestone cash payments, and cash payment royalties from revenues. So we always talk about what are the future catalysts that for a stock, right? If I get in now, I want to be early and make money on my stock. So I'm thinking about the future progression of the company and future catalysts, future press releases that could hit that would make the stock go higher. And this is certainly a potential future catalyst here that could have a huge impact on the stock's performance, which is this strategic partnership to license the Glucogard to the European Union. And again, it's upfront cash payments, milestone cash payments, and cash payment royalties from revenue. So there's obviously a lot of financial incentive with that partnership as well. Okay, and then Arete Biosciences development contract has been initially funded and is expected to expand into patient studies. We just talked about that as well, how they have the hedge fund funding the Arete Biosciences partnership. Okay, so let's go deeper into these partnerships now with Arete Biosciences as well as Dexcom. This is the Glucogard page here. This is our research report, which we'll get to in just a moment, but I want to highlight the importance of the Dexcom and the Arete Biosciences partnerships first. So this is the Dexcom website, diabetes decisions made easier with 24/7 glucose tracking. So they have extensive databases and algorithms to track your glucose levels. They're one of the biggest players in diabetes. If we go look up Dexcom stock, all right, you can see they have a market cap of $32 billion right now. So these guys are no joke. They are one of the leaders in diabetes research and technology. So the fact that they are partnering with ADHC, a penny stock, is obviously really, really significant. It's a huge event for this company, for ADHC, and for Glucogard. So clearly, Glucogard is quite the legitimate product with a lot of promise if these guys are willing to partner with ADHC and implement them into their development program. Okay? Now, we can go back and look at some of their previous strategic partnerships that Dexcom has had, just to show you guys the quality of companies that these guys work with. They announced a strategic partnership with Oura in November 19th, which makes the Oura Ring, which is another kind of glucose monitoring device, wearable, right? And you can see Dexcom even invested $75 million into Oura. So these guys don't just partner with companies, but they do strategic investments as well. And I would think that as Glucogard continues to develop, Dexcom would see them as a funding candidate, considering they already have the partnership going with them, right? And if we take a look at Oura, well, what kind of company size are we talking? You can see these guys raised $200 million and have a valuation of $5.2 billion. So Dexcom is not working with small, companies that amount to nothing. These guys are working with heavy hitters in the industry and have identified Glucogard as a potential heavy hitter that they can work with. So this is really phenomenal to see. And then if we take a look at Arete Biosciences, these guys have a similar resume of working with very successful biotech companies. So we scroll down here on their website, and you can see some of their, reviews here, what our partners have to say. And we have here Norm Nelson, former senior director of Discovery Research, and he's with GenProbe. And if we look into GenProbe, okay, Hologic acquired GenProbe at a very high valuation, a total enterprise value of $3.7 billion in this acquisition of GenProbe. Okay, so GenProbe, obviously massive biotech company, is an example of a partner with Arete Biosciences, and of course, Arete Biosciences is now the development partner for Glucogard. So we're looking at Glucogard being in the same league essentially with these partnerships as companies like URA and and GenProbe, right, which receive multiple billions of dollars in valuations, and even in the case of GenProbe, were acquired for a very large valuation as well. So, these are very serious partners to have in the diabetes device development industry here. Okay, and now let's take a look at the research report from Harbinger Research, which gives ADHC a $43 million valuation. You can see from their conclusion and valuation analysis section on the first page, therefore we are initiating coverage of ADHC with a rating of strong speculative buy and an initial 12-month price target of 0.012 per share, giving us the $48 million valuation. Again, what is it right now? $3.5 million market cap. You're at 0.002 a share. So you're looking at really, really significant upside to achieve this 12-month price target that Harbinger Research has released. Okay? So that's very important to note, but there's a lot of really good stuff in this research report, and it is linked in their press release about it as well. If you want to read the full thing, you can go to their OTC Markets page, go to News, and go to their most recent press release. There's a link in there to this. So if we look at the, I want to scroll down and show you the U.S. market first, and also they have a great image again of the product here and how it works. Very simple product, easy to wear while you're sleeping, right, and fully automated using artificial intelligence and algorithms to determine if you need glucose delivery or not and what your glucose levels are while you sleep. And I have friends with diabetes. I'm sure many people do. Some of you may have diabetes, and you probably can understand quite quickly how useful a device like this can be. Okay, they reinforce the fact that it has the 95% accuracy in partnership with Dexcom's data integration. So that's really high accuracy. And then if we scroll down here to the United States, you can see the U.S. diabetes market is significant, with an estimated 38.4 million people living with diabetes as of 2024, representing almost 12% of the U.S. population. So this is a massive market. Approximately 10% of these type 1 diabetics, or 180,000 to 360,000 patients, are potential candidates for the GlucoGuard device, particularly those prone to experience nocturnal hypoglycemia. At an estimated yearly cost of $2,000 per patient for the device, which, by the way, is very affordable for a yearly cost. That's very affordable per patient, okay? For the device and glucose refills, the company's potential annual revenue in the U.S. is between $360 million to $720 million, and that's in the United States market alone. If you look at global, the diabetes population is estimated to be at 589 million adults. Of these, 5 to 10% are type 1 diabetics, resulting in approximately 29.35 million to 58.7 million individuals worldwide. Again, if they assume 10% of these type 1 diabetics are potential candidates, the market includes between 3 to almost 6 million patients globally that GlucoGuard can treat as soon as it's essentially FDA approved and on market, right? So you have a massive, massive market here. I mean, again, just the U.S. market alone can net revenues between $360 million to $720 million annually. So this is really has the potential to be a revolutionary device, not just for diabetes patients, but of course for shareholders as well, as the valuation would skyrocket if they're doing, revenue numbers like that. Okay. There's a lot of great stuff in this research report. I do recommend you go read the full thing yourself, but it does do a great job again of highlighting the company's strategic partnerships, which I do think need to be continuously highlighted because they are an important piece to this story and the development of GlucoGuard. And so they have the Dexcom partnership, like we talked about. They have access to Dexcom's developer program. Again, URA had access to that and wound up with a $5.2 billion valuation. Okay. You can see they have the University of California Irvine partnership, and then again the Arete Biosciences partnership. And of course, Arete Biosciences, right? They helped. They were a development partner with, like we talked about, GenProbe, which was acquired at a valuation of $3.7 billion. So, And then the team, right? We talked about the team, but again, we have to highlight one more time Dr. Stephen Weber, guys, chairman and medical advisory board. He's such a crucial member of this team because of his experience working with the Food and Drug Administration. So he is going to be a crucial part of getting Glucogard fast-tracked through FDA approval through their Breakthrough Devices program. The rest, goes over some of the risks, etc. But, one thing that's, I think, the most important thing to highlight out of this whole research report is the fact that they did some pretty deep analysis on this company and reached a 12-month price target of 0.012 per share, which is obviously, 6 to 7x higher than the current share price, which would imply, this year there could be a lot of upside for ADHC. And again, we have pending catalysts such as the European Union licensing with Glucogard, which would be a major catalyst that we could see happen in the near future, as well as FDA approval, which of course is a massive catalyst. And again, they already had favorable response from the FDA after their initial review. So I think they're on the right track with that as well, especially considering the team they've put together and the partnerships they've put together. When Dexcom and Arete Biosciences are looking at companies to partner with, I'm sure that they are looking at the likelihood of FDA approval with their partner companies as well, and they see a lot of promise here. So that's great to see. And then if we take a look at their chart, the chart is setting up very nicely here. We've made that higher low. It obviously had a first big run up, and then you have your typical big dip. Very standard for OTC. But what this does is it establishes a base for the stock. Okay, so now we have a much more locked up float, right? Because if you look at accumulation's going up. Okay, so the chart's setting up very nicely here. If you look, the purple line is the 50-day moving average. The orange line is the 200-day moving average. What this stock is doing is it's setting up for a golden cross, which is one of the most bullish patterns in technical analysis that you can find. It's a very consistent bullish signal, and that means that the 50-day moving average is about to cross over the 200-day moving average. That could happen as soon as this week. And again, it's one of the most bullish technical signals out there. Couple that with the fact that you did get a nice higher low. It found really great support at a previous resistance level. It's just from a technical level on the chart, the fundamentals are playing out really well here. Now we're getting that MACD curling back up. We had a very strong close on Friday. So I'm definitely looking forward to the price action this week because technically, from a chart perspective, it looks fantastic. And when you pair that with the fundamentals of the company, it starts to really come together here as a stock that has some serious potential going into the summer. And, when we look at stocks that are capturing a lot of attention in the OTC markets right now, I think this one is right up there with some of the fan favorites that you see on social media. And it continues to get a bigger and bigger audience if you go on socials. I mean, you can see a lot of people talking about this now. So they're definitely getting the word out in a really good way. And obviously, they've been very consistent with press releases, having 5 press releases between April 29th and June 10th. So, if I'm looking at this stock, I'm thinking, well, they're probably going to have more press releases coming soon because they've been so communicative and they've been working at such a fast pace. And so, of course, more press releases equals future catalysts that could create more upside for the stock. So all that being said, I think we've covered a lot with ADHC. And again, I highly recommend you go read the full research report. If you go to their news section and go to the press release here, right, of the $43 million enterprise valuation research report, you can just click the link and read the full report because there is a lot of information in there. But, to summarize, guys, we have a breakthrough diabetes medical device here using AI. It's all patented. They have excellent partnerships with Dexcom and Arete Biosciences. They have a hedge fund funding their development partnership program with Arete. So everything is really coming together for ADHC, and I think it's going to be one of the most exciting OTC biotechs for quite a while as they progress into FDA approval. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.